What brought you in today?
I've just been dealing with a lot of stress, just due to my parents and stuff.
What sort of issues have been coming up that's been stressful?
Recently there's been like a lot of big life events, like baby shower, wedding, stuff like that, and I'm just having a lot of trouble like communicating with them about what's going on and things like that.
I can understand that can be hard. A lot of
Mhm.
planning that has to go on and wanting their
Yeah.
involvement at the same time.
Yeah, definitely need the help.
Completely understand.
I know with my mom, we haven't really been talking much. There's a lot of like stress and tension between us with the upcoming baby shower and wedding and everything. And same with my dad and stepmom.
So you have important life events coming up that's causing tension between your mom
Yeah.
and you. What kind of relationship do you currently have with your parents?
Currently, with my mom, it's very up and down. Sometimes, some days it's good, other days it's just there's no relationship whatsoever. And with my dad and stepmom, there's not really a relationship there anymore. Ever since they had gotten married, so
Okay. So it sounds that like your parents have been divorced since you mentioned a stepmom. Do you have a
Mhm.
stepfather too?
Yeah. They've been divorced since I was 15, and I think they've both been remarried for maybe like 5 years now, something like that. Or
Okay,
less.
so it's still kind of new since
Yeah.
there hasn't been that much time that
Mhm.
passed. What was your relationship with your parents before they got divorced?
Before the divorce, it was kind of the same with my mom. It was that constant up and down, and there wasn't really anything stable. And with my dad, it was actually really good, but before the divorce and after, until he and my stepmom had gotten married.
Okay, so what sorts of things that happened that made the relationship so good with your
Um,
dad?
Towards the end, we got a lot closer because I was 15, like I said before. So I was able to understand a lot more of what was going on, and he would actually be truthful with me with what was going on instead of kind of sugarcoating it.
So that the fact that he was honest when you guys had your any communication that went on was what made it
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
And with your mom, it was a lot of back and forth and
Yeah. A lot of the times when I would ask her about things that were going on, she wasn't truthful, so I would hear two sides of it. One side from my dad, one side from her, and that's kind of what made me closer with my dad is that he would tell me what's going on, where she would kind of not be truthful about anything.
so in all that she was distrustful towards any relationship that you guys had, and the truth had a big gap in it is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I would try to tell her things privately that I would want to keep between us, but she would always go behind my back and tell either one of her friends or tell my dad, and it just made me not really want to talk to her at all.
That must be hard to go through that, but so going back to now, I see that it carries over to you're seeing the same things over now. In these important life events that are happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I've told her a couple things, like with the baby and the baby shower, and she had went behind my back and told my dad, and that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back with the current relationship.
So is there a relationship you want to work more on, whether it's with your mother or father or both, or?
Mostly mom right now.
Okay. The relationship with your mother hasn't always been the greatest, is what I'm hearing. What kind of relationship do you want to have with your mother that doesn't exist right now?
I'd like to have, I guess, more of that mother-daughter bond to where I can confide in her, and I can trust that she won't go behind my back, because it's kind of tough that I don't really have that parental figure or that maternal figure right now with everything that's going on, so.
Yeah, so you want a relationship that you're able to communicate to her, but to also continue having a mother-daughter bond and
Yeah, and have that more like adult mother-daughter bond with her where we're closer as friends rather than her as a parental kind of overbearing figure.
so you miss that guidance that most
Mhm.
that is lacking right now and that you need.
Yeah, especially
Right
not
now.
having either of my parents really, so.
What is it with that you want to experience with your mother?
I just want to be able to talk to her and know that I can trust her with what I'm saying because she's kind of gone behind my back before and said things that weren't her place to tell.
So it's hard to create a good relationship when she's been distrustful with you and based on things that you want to confide in her and she happens just to go against that.
Yeah.
What kind of goals do you want to see out of this relationship?
I just want to see us become stronger, I guess, and actually have that relationship for once. I mean, she and I haven't really gotten along, and it would be good, and then she would do something to upset me and not listen to why I was upset. So that was the constant back and forth.
Tell me a little bit about what has been working in the past in order to help with the tension.
Honestly, nothing has really worked. I've tried talking to her about it. I've tried talking to other family members, and the relationship hasn't really changed.
So with the recent life events that are coming up, you're having issues trying to communicate well with your mother on how you feel.
Yeah.
Okay. So has there anything that's worked in the past to help, like, give a great moment that you guys had together, or?
Honestly, I mean, things have been so back and forth since high school that it's kind of hard to remember a good event. Mostly all I remember is like the fighting and the bickering and her not wanting to, put in any effort to be involved in my life.
That must be hard having sort of a difficult relationship with your mother. I know from my personal experience, I've had difficult times with my mom too, and having trust issues there and having to work on them. But also, is it okay if I point out something that I noticed during our conversation?
Yeah.
I noticed that when we were talking about it, you had your arms crossed, and can you tell me a little bit what that means?
I just feel like it's difficult for me to share with new people with having my mom always kind of go behind my back and be distrustful, that it's hard for me to open up with anyone new.
I can understand that it's hard to want to open up just to someone you don't really know that well. I appreciate that you are. So tell me a little bit more what brought this whole relationship concern that you have with your mother up. So I know you said it was a little bit about a baby shower. Is there anything that just recently happened that?
I mean, recently we've been planning everything, and it's kind of difficult with school and work. So my mother-in-law stepped in to really help get everything together, plan the baby shower, help get all the wedding decorations, everything like that. And I guess my mom says that she doesn't feel like she's involved enough and, wants to be able to be there and plan, but there's no effort being put in from her side.
So when you have a conversation like this, can you give me an example of how it would go? If your mom was like sitting right here next to me.
That I don't know if I could do. There'd be a lot of yelling involved.
Or just sum it up or just give me a brief summary of how it would go.
I mean, from recent experiences, it's been more if I tell her how I'm feeling, that I'm upset over, a specific event, she tries to, I guess, one-up it and say, oh, well, my life's just as crazy or something just as bad happened to me. And it kind of feels like she's just shooting me down on what I'm trying to express to her.
So you're having current communication issues. It
Mhm.
seems like that you're not being able to get through your message because she's
Yeah.
always interrupting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So has there been a time where you were able to communicate and she actually was able to confirm what you said?
Honestly, not really. It's
Okay.
always been the kind of, well, my life's worse and we have this going on, and she's never really, I guess, heard what I'm saying.
So based on what you've mentioned about the relationship with your mother, are there certain things that you want to see happen to help improve the relationship?
I mean, basically, I just want to see her be able to listen to what I'm saying for once, and for me to be able to get my feelings across to her.
Okay, so have you ever confronted her about not being heard, even though you may reciprocate on the other end that you do listen to her, but
I mean, it's kind of difficult to confront her in person because she's 2.5 hours away.
oh,
But I mean, we call, we text, we Skype and stuff, but I always feel like there's never, the confrontation isn't brought up.
that must be hard. I mean, I can understand. I mean, my relationship with my dad is constrained by distance sometimes as well because he's 4 hours away. So I can understand where you're coming from with that, having some communication issues with your mother. So a lot of the talking is done through the phone, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I guess could be an issue with texting and not knowing what each other means, but I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same way on all different communication grounds with her.
Definitely, because it's kind of hard to observe what she may be feeling on the other side if you're just reading words, so, or vice versa for her.
Yeah, or it's like her tone when we talk on the phone. She's very, I guess, cold, and you just can't feel any warmth from her when we talk.
Okay. So have you ever thought about, so what are some things that you think you could do to help try to strengthen the relationship?
I mean, I guess I could start out by actually confronting her and just leaving it at that for her to kind of process how I'm feeling.
So confront her, explain more in detail what would be an example.
I guess with like the baby shower and everything, ask her why she wants the involvement but isn't putting in any effort towards it. She doesn't ask if there's anything that she could do, or if she just wants to come up and visit. I know we just moved into a new house and she hasn't asked how that's went or wants to come see it or anything like that.
Okay.
So it's just kind of upsetting that all these new things are happening and she's not really wanting a part in it.
Now that you say she's 2.5 hours away, then how often do you physically see her?
Normally just when I go home for the holidays.
Okay, so she hasn't been present with the baby shower coming up?
Okay. No, it's normally if I make the drive home, that's when I'll see her.
Okay, so she doesn't usually come up to see you. It's usually you're the one that has to make the effort. That must be difficult because I can understand, because it's hard when only one person is trying to make the effort in a relationship and the other one's not reciprocating.
Yeah, and that's how I feel, like it's very one-sided.
All right. Another suggestion in my clinical opinion is that you said you can use confrontation to tell her how you really feel, maybe to address also that you wish she would do something in return instead of just addressing one side, maybe addressing both sides at the same time. Did you understand what I meant by that? By using confrontation to like help address how you would want her to react and when you guys communicate.
So saying that like I want her to come visit and be present.
Yeah, and also because you also said you have a hard time with her actually listening to you and being reflective of your feelings, and maybe directly confronting her about like, Mom, I don't know if you really understand how I'm feeling right now,
Mhm.
because you don't really reciprocate that you are empathetic towards me.
That makes sense.
Okay. Because that could be a step towards what you want in the relationship with your mother. Is there anything else that you want to like confront your mom? Because I know you said listening and that confronting her about how you actually feel and that. But about communication, is there a different way? Because do you guys talk more on the phone or text more?
We used to talk a lot more on the phone or through Skype. So we would actually kind of see each other.
So what happened to where it's not what the most recent communication is now?
Just her actions and stuff, the way she's kind of went about saying things to other people behind my back and not confronting me about it first. It just makes me not really want to talk to her in general.
So the tension that's come up with the baby shower is what's creating like not direct communication.
That being one of the main things, yeah.
Okay. So maybe that's something else too, is to help maybe try to talk more, maybe Skype again. Because, I mean, it's hard when you're 2 hours away from her, but.
Yeah. It's just kind of a matter of how she listens and everything that's frustrating. And say I'm more than willing to have that relationship, it's just, I feel like it's very one-sided, so I don't really want to put the effort in if I'm not getting anything back.
Does that sound like a suggestion you could do, is maybe try to Skype more with her? Because
I think so, yeah.
maybe that could help you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you willing to make the step towards a better relationship?
Yeah, I'm definitely willing to confront her and see where that goes.
That could also be something you could ask your mother too, if she's willing to want to make a better relationship with between you and her. All right. So our conversation during this session, I just want to summarize really quickly what you've presented to me. The relationship that you want to work on right now is with your mother, due to the tension that's always been there that you've had with her.
Yeah.
The distance hasn't been very easy on you guys, but that's something you're willing to work through to help improve the relationship.
Yeah.
And also confronting her and that you would like to be heard and your feelings be known when it comes to having a better relationship with her.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Since the distance can be so tough sometimes between you and your mom, would you be willing to possibly maybe start doing mother-daughter dates and like meeting halfway with her? Is this something you could bring up to her possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that idea, just to be able to talk in person and actually meet somewhere face to face. We honestly haven't done that in a very long time. You know, like I mentioned before, we see each other maybe once a year, if that. So it would be nice to see her more than that.
What kind of benefits do you think you see coming out of doing something like this?
I think just having a face-to-face talks would be able to allow us to get more personal. You know, we could actually hear the tone of each other's voices and kind of get meaning from that rather than over the phone or through texting when it's really not that personal.
Yeah, this could also work towards your goal that you have too, and also be a win-win for both of you.
Yeah, I really think so. It's definitely something I'd be willing to try.
Like, what types of activities do you think that you guys would like? Did you guys do anything when you were younger that you did with her that you'd be able to do now as well?
I mean, nothing specifically comes to mind since we weren't really that close when I was younger. And if we were, I was, you know, like 10 years old, so I don't remember too much, but I mean, I'd be willing to find new things for us to do as well that we could hopefully enjoy together.
Okay, that sounds good. You have to let me know how it goes.
Absolutely.